This that I'm sharing with you is extremely powerful because it's going to tie into what Brother Vijay is going to share with you. Colossae, it was no small town. Colossae was a city of over 50,000 inhabitants. Over 50,000. It was a conglomerate of Jews, of course, and Gentiles. At one time was a prosperous city. Laodicea was a very prosperous city. And in Colossae, they were big for dyes. Laodicea was big for textile production. And in Colossae, they were big for the dyes that were used in dyeing clothing and fabric and this kind of stuff. Now, Paul never ever visited Colossae. Yet, there is a letter of Paul to the Colossians. Okay? It's one of Paul's letters. We know that Paul is the author of most of the New Testament. And so Paul writes a letter to the Colossians. And he writes a letter to the Colossians because while he's in prison, Epaphras comes to visit him. Because Epaphras has encountered a situation in Colossae that he needs counsel. He needs to talk to Paul. So obviously Paul was his mentor. So he goes to the prison to talk. How awesome when there are disciples that do not lose track of their mentors. Okay? And Epaphras goes to visit Paul. And Paul is so moved by what Epaphras has to share with him that he writes a letter to the Colossian church. And why is it so powerful? Come on, Wednesdays and find out, okay? No, why is it so powerful? It is very powerful because Laodicea continued to be a great city. Hierapolis continued to be a great city. They were so great that today archaeologists are still digging up the cities, still finding artifacts, still finding what made them such great civilizations. But Colossae disappeared off the face of the earth. It disappeared. Even today, archaeologists will tell you they're not sure exactly where Colossae was because they can't find nothing. There's nothing to be found. Okay? And that's a generalization. I don't know if they have found any artifacts or any trinkets or anything. But in general, now, why is it so powerful and important? I'll tell you. Because God will do anything to protect his church. God will do anything to protect his children. Anything. And so Colossae does not emerge into a great political entity or city. But Colossae begins to die. And Colossae misses out on the glory of Laodicea and Hierapolis. And you know why that happened? Because there was a little handful of Christians, a little house church that God covered and he protected from the heresies of the day, from the heretics. Because the heretics had come totally against the teaching of Jesus Christ as the Son of God. And that little handful of Christians was protected. And I'm here to tell you that God, that the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church.